Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. I'm happy to have you here talking a little bit of Raid with me today. And this is going to be a great video, guys, because it is it's a skill that not many champions have. As a matter of fact, only 8 champions inside the entire game have this ability, and it's so game-changing for your account. So definitely look out for, and invest in at least one of these champions if you're lucky enough to pull them. There's 1 rare, 2 epics on the list as well. Of course, 5 legendaries. So what am I talking about, and why is it so important? Well, it's an AoE increase accuracy, okay? Why is it so important? We always talk about Great Hall. What are we prioritizing? Accuracy. Basically, every single affinity, accuracy is going to be our priority because it's just a massive, massive difference changer. Difference changer? Well, I guess, to get plus 80 accuracy out the gate, right? And what this is going to allow you to do to have the increased accuracy, especially in areas where you're struggling to even keep your champions alive, is the beauty of it is it's going to allow you to have enough accuracy in some situations to where in the arena, you don't have to build your debuffer with 5, 6, 7, 8, 900 accuracy. You can build them with, 3, 4, 500 accuracy if you have them set up with an increased accuracy champion. It's going to really be the same, and that's also going to free you guys up to not have to run accuracy banners on all of your champions all the time. Maybe you can get by with a defense or an HP banner to try to keep your guys alive a little bit longer, your champions, and have that increased accuracy buff. So again, it's really helpful everywhere in the game, and that's the cool thing about this buff, right? It's just like, it's one of the best out there, and it's pretty rare to find. So a 50% accuracy for you new players out there, by the way, that's 50% accuracy after all of your artifacts, after all of your Great Hall. So 60% or 50%, excuse me, of where you are as a total accuracy going to be added in addition to that accuracy. So if I have 200 or if I have 400 accuracy with all of my gear and all my masteries and all my Great Hall bonuses, I'm going to have 600 accuracy plus 50%. So that's really, really strong, obviously. Let's talk about these champions. And these champions, guys, there's more than meets the eye on all of these champions. They're all good, even besides this ability, but this ability just pushes them over the top. We're going to start with my main man, Archbishop Pinthroy. You guys, if you've seen a few of my videos, any video basically that I talk about Hydra or best champions in every faction, whatever, I always give a massive shout to my man Archbishop Pinthroy. I think he's one of the best in the game. I love this dude. He's got an A3 with a nice heal, an increased defense, and a shield on a 4-turn cooldown. And then he has this great holy word ability. Increase accuracy on all allies for 2 turns, and then attacks all enemies. He's got heal reduction. He's got block buffs as well. This is all on a 3-turn cooldown. This is an incredibly good ability out there. So Archbishop Pinthroy is one of the best, one of the GOATs. But speaking of the GOATs, guys, probably the best champion we're going to be talking about today overall is Lady Kimmy. So you probably have seen, or you may have seen, that she became super arena meta around 6 months ago or so. And it's really for this opening move, Spirit Flux. Removes a random buff from each enemy, has a 100% chance of placing a block buff for 2 turns on enemies who have buffs removed. And then imagine starting out in the arena with this ability, and look at her base speed, 115. Fills a turn meter of all allies by 15%. Places an increased speed and an increased accuracy on all allies. That is amazing. That's incredible. I want to talk to you really quickly here about the type of champion here, a little intermission, if you will. Type of champion that I love with an increased accuracy buff, right? There's 2, right? So one of them is going to be a champion like Shemnath. She's really hard to build because she has this ability that attacks 2 times. The first hit removes buffs, the second hit ignores defense. It's a nuke ability, but you also want to make sure you're removing all those buffs so it clears the way for her to nuke them all down. But it's tough to build a champion with enough crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, and accuracy for the arena to accomplish all of that. But if you have her set up with an increased accuracy and an increased attack champion, you're going to be golden, right? You're going to actually be able to remove those buffs and still build enough attack and crit rate, crit damage, rather than having to focus all out on accuracy. You won't be able to put her in Perception gear. You can put her in Savage gear. She's going to get that accuracy bonus from the buff itself. Another type of champion right here in Knights Revenant is Gaius the Gleeful, right? A bomb champion. You really want those bombs to land, obviously, not to mention the sleep. So increase attack is going to strengthen the bomb, the power of the bomb, the damage of the bomb, and then increase accuracy is going to increase the chance of them to land. So again, really, really underrated ability. I'm talking about Arena here specifically, but it's an underrated ability, again, in all dungeons, Hydra clan boss, you name it. Shadowkin, guys, it's Yoshi, the first Shadowkin legendary to ever be added to the game. Yoshi the Drunkard. Man, I've said this before on the channel, but this Battle Toast ability is incredibly underrated, guys. This is a perfect setup to a bomb champion. If you want to run a bomb team, consider Yoshi. He's got increased attack and increased accuracy for 2 turns, and then he has a 75% chance of placing True Fear debuff on all enemies, 100% chance on enemies under increased attack buffs. This is a great opening move. Set up your debuffer, set up your nuker with that increased accuracy, increased attack, all in one ability. He's also got the 2-turn cooldown, decreased accuracy, and HP burn, so he has some utility even outside of that. I forgot to mention, both on Lady Kimmy and Yoshi, they both have great passives too. Fills a champion's turn rate by 4% each time an enemy receives a buff. That's fantastic. That is a fantastic little underrated passive there. Imperious, Lady Kimmy, whenever this champion places a debuff on an enemy, decreases that enemy's turn meter by 5%. Whenever this champion or ally receives a buff, fills their turn meter by 5% for each debuff received. Excuse me, debuff. So again, a really, really nice passive there on Lady Kimmy. Next up is going to be one that people probably forget about, or a lot of people might forget about, because he's not the most popular champion in the world, but it's Rule the Huntmaster. So this is a nuker with an increased accuracy buff. He's really the, well, maybe one of two or 2.5.
Yo, killing me with this.
You guys can be the judge. Let's start with his A3, right? Places an increased accuracy on all allies for 2 turns, places a hexed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, perfect veil on this champion for 2 turns, and fills this champion's turn meter by 50%. You know what? It's not grant an extra turn, but a 50% turn meter fill is really nice on this ability. So he's got the increased accuracy, the Hex, perfect veil on himself, comes back in with Unleash the Hunt, his A2 ability. It does a lot of damage, an extra hit on enemies under Hex, which he just placed on the A3 ability, and then ignore 25% of each target's defense if there are 4 or more enemies under Hex debuffs. Rule the Huntmaster, he's not an S tier nuker in the game, but this dude really smacks. He does some decent damage, and that increased accuracy is really, really nice to have on your team as well. There's one more legendary champion, guys, and it is a new one, and I can't for the life of me. I want you guys to be real. I don't have him. Good old Samson.
Maybe that's why.
He looks so cool, right?
Not scary. Am I scary? A little.
The thing about him is I mean, listen, you know me, I don't take a lot of stock in inventory in the ratings, but man, I'm surprised they're this low. This dude looks like an absolute monster to me, man. I really want this guy. I want to see what the hype is, or what the lack of hype is all about, right? He's an HP-based champion. He's an HP-based nuker in the game. This guy's really cool. He's got a stun on the A1. I want you to remember that. We'll talk about it in a minute. Attacks all enemies on the A2. Explosive temper. Removes increased defense buffs from enemies before attacking. Places an extra hit if this attack kills an enemy. And it has a godlike damage rating on hellhades.com. Explosive temper. I want to try that ability out. But he has an opening move of Roar of Victory. Okay? Increase accuracy on all allies for 3 turns. Also increase crit damage on this champion for 3 turns. Grants an extra turn. Ooh, I love the granted extra turn abilities. And then look at this passive. Decrease the damage the champion receives from critical hits by 20%. Counterattacks the attacker when hit with a critical hit. So he's basically going to counterattack and go in and be stunning their nuker, you know, with a 100% crit rate. It's going to be a critical hit. He's going to counterattack, and he's going to have like a 45% chance at stunning them. Really cool synergy there. 50% chance of counterattacking the attacker when hit with a strong, normal, or weak hit. Dude, that's really, really solid, man. He has a super good kit. I don't get it. Defense in all battles by 30% as well. I think he's, I don't know, man. I would rank him like without playing him, you know, I would probably give him an overall, 4.7 overall rating. You know, am I crazy? You guys let me know. Those are all the legendaries. Again, Archbishop Pinthroy. We had Lady Kimmy, Rule the Huntmaster, Samson the Masher, and Yoshi the Drunkard. Do you guys know the 2 epics? There's only 2 epics, and one of them is Claude Beast Feeder. So Claude is a really, really cool champion, right? 110 base speed, another speedy champion, and that's a good thing because he brings increased speed and increased accuracy on his A3 ability. He also has a decent shield on his A2 ability. He's a really, really nice champion to get that increased accuracy and increased speed on the same move on that A3. I have a guide out there on him probably about a year or so ago if you guys want to check more into this champion, but definitely a very, very interesting champion. Also has a heal, which is really handy on Delicious Giblets, like the name of the ability there, on his passive. So pretty cool champion, Claude Beast Feeder. And the other one is actually probably not one that many of you guys could have guessed, and it is Pestilus. Where are you, Pestilus? Pestilus, another really solid champion, guys. Believe it or not, we don't talk too much about him here. The only downside is he's kind of slow. Well, not kinda. He's really slow at 94 base speed. However, on his A3, Battle Weirding, he has an increased accuracy, increased crit damage on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. This is a really nice opening move, right? For the arena, only problem is, again, there's that speed kind of sucks. But, you know, forget arena. Anywhere on a 3-turn cooldown, think about this on a champion, again, like Shemnath, who we talked about earlier, right? They're going to get the increased crit damage, which is going to be incredible, synergizes with the passive that we didn't really talk about, but then the increased accuracy as well on top of that. A great setup to a nuker, just a great ability overall, this Battle Weirding. And then we have an HP burn, and we have an AoE heal if the HP burn is placed. Turn meter if the HP burn is not placed on a 3-turn cooldown. So not a bad A2 ability as well on Pestilus, who is a attack-based champion, but a nice amount of HP and defense as well. And then last but not least, guys, the first, ironically, the only rare and also the first increased accuracy champion, the big version too, to ever be added to the game on an AoE. First was actually Stag Knight on his pinpoint accuracy on his passive. Khazar Deepheart, man. I love me some Khazar Deepheart. And I gotta tell you guys, this move is really good, especially in when metal farming for the Great Hall. This is a great ability, guys. You can open up in the arena with an increased accuracy on everybody. Big version, again, on a rare champion. And then you attack everybody, and you have a 100% chance of placing decreased defense. Now, you might be saying, well, it's the weak version of decreased defense. Nukers nowadays in this game, they're strong enough where the weak version of decreased defense is usually plenty. And of course, it depends on who you're running, but a champion like, I don't know, Genbo or Magnar or, you know, all the great legendary nukers out there, that setup, increased accuracy, and then the decreased defense is really, really formidable in the arena or anywhere else. A very, very good ability, even in dungeon waves. The weak version of decreased defense is better than no version of decreased defense, and he has it all in one kit, or all in one ability, excuse me. Then he has another AoE on the A2. You can put him in a stun set as well and get more control out of this champion. Khazard, maybe I should do an updated guide on him, because the one that I put out was like 2 years ago. But boy, he's an underrated rare champion. To me, he's a top 5 rare in the game. I've said that many, many times, but he has an extra decreased speed, big version as well, if he has a critical attack on the A1. A very, very good champion, guys. And that's it, man. Again, we have 5 legendaries, 2 epics, and 1 rare. Be on the lookout for these champions. I would frankly build really any of these champions, especially if you don't have any of them built and you need increased accuracy, you have no champion that has it. Try it out. Again, you're not going to regret these builds. All of these champions. I guess my least favorite would probably be Rule. Is kind of not a bad champion, but I'm thinking that like it's kind of weird and also good to have an increased accuracy on your nuker, you know? And he's not run in a ton of different areas, but he does have nice Hex synergy. Heck, he has that passive that gives more damage. So I do think that, I mentioned this before, I think that as time goes by and they keep introducing more and more and more Hex champions, gosh, they're introducing a new Hex champion like every month, it feels like. This Marked Quarry passive is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Decreases the speed of enemies under Hex by 5%, resistance by 10%, increase the damage they receive by 10%, decrease the value of their heals by 30%. That's really strong, and it synergizes well with every other Hex champion in the game. Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and end the video there. What do you think of these champions? Have you invested in any of these champions? If so, who is your favorite? Who do you use? And do you take advantage of increased accuracy in the arena? If not, why not? Guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.